God, I never know how to start videos. So today's video is me making a dress out of an old bed sheet. I recently got new bed sheets because my fitted sheet had a hole in it somehow. I think from the washing machine probably, because our washing machine is really old. So I got new bed sheets and I never used the flat sheet from my old set, so I decided to make a dress out of it. So today's video is all about the process of me making that dress. I did not use any patterns. I did this all, I guess, freehand. However, I did use a picture of a dress that already exists off of Pinterest because I really liked the dress and I thought that I would really just want to have that dress, so I decided to make it. Basically, I looked at the photos of the dress and kind of in my mind envisioned how it would fall off of my body. I also drew it out so that it was a bit easier to tell like where the sleeves would start, where the waist seam would sit, and all of that kind of stuff. I don't want to make this intro too long because I already edited the video. This is after the fact that I made the dress. As you can see in the video, my hair is a completely different color, which I do have a video that I posted. I filmed the process of dyeing my hair, which was my birthday present from my sister because she's a hairdresser. So I didn't dye my hair because of quarantine. I already had that plan to do it, so here's the video. So to start off the dress, I just pinned the front and back of the top portion, which took quite a while to figure out the size and shapes, but I think I did a decent job. Now I'm just cutting it out. So this is the shape of the back portion. I've cut it out on the fold so that I just cut it out in half, but it is the full back piece, and then the front I cut out both sides at the same time so that they are the exact same shape. So that's what the front pieces looked like. So here are just my sketches of the dress, of what I think it was gonna be. Some of the measurements might be wrong, and here's what the dress is going to look like. So yeah, I just pulled this off of a Pinterest photo that I thought was really pretty. So now I am working on the sleeves. I cut out a sleeve originally, but it was not the right shape, so I just cut out a different one, making sure that the newer sleeve is a different shape. So that is what the sleeves look like when they're laid out flat. And then out of the old sleeve that I made, I just cut out the pockets so that I didn't waste that fabric. Now this is the top band of the bedsheet. So what I did was used that for the neckline and for the ties that I added in the back. So here I just ironed down flat into two sections and then folded over again. So there's 3 pieces of that. So this is the back piece, and the front piece is laid out flat, and then I just placed the 2 front pieces onto the back, and then I pinned the shoulders together and did those seams, and then I pinned the neck piece to the shirt, so that, and then I sewed the middle of it together to make it closed, and that's just kind of what the seams look like. I didn't really show too much of me sewing. So this is what it looks like. The back of the neck line, I guess, would kind of flare up. So I did have to make some darts to flatten it out so it wasn't like poking up like how it is. It kind of looked like a cape. So this is after I did the darts. That's after I did one dart, sorry, and then I had to do a couple more. So this is after I did 2 more darts. It is much more fitted. And this is what the darts look like from the inside. So here's me just sewing the ties flat. I tried showing some sewing. So for these I just did an edge stitch to sew them down flat. So now I'm starting with the sleeves. What I did is I gathered the top of the sleeve to kind of match what the pattern what the original dress looked like, and then yeah. So this is what it looks like after I sewed the sleeve down, and here I'm taking out the basting stitch for when I gathered it. I believe a bit later in the video, I explain how to gather, because I know if you don't sew, this is kind of like, what is she talking about right now? Which is fair. So this is what it looks like from the outside. Okay, here's where I explain it. So you change it to 4, so the longest stitch length. And then you just sew in the area that you want to gather. And you do not do any back stitches, and make sure that you have a lot of thread on each side so that you can pull the threads. So you hold both threads at one end, but you only pull one of them. You hold one still and pull the other one so that the fabric can kind of, I guess, gather itself. So you do that on both sides. Make sure that you are pulling the same thread from both sides. And then you kind of shuffle it all around to make it even throughout. So this is just a way to take an extra amount of fabric and fit it to a fixed amount of fabric. So this is after I did both of the sleeves. So that's what it looks like. So this is kind of the base of the shirt portion of the dress. Still have a couple of seams to go to finish this off. So yeah, I gotta close off the sleeves and the sides of the top. So here is it pinned, and then I'm gonna sew that down next. So this is just me sewing down the sides of the sleeves and the sides of the top down. I left the sound on for this so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. It is sped up, so it does sound a little bit louder and more obnoxious, but sewing machines aren't quiet. And it's kind of tough to sew at night because I don't want to wake my mom up. But yeah, so basically for most stitches, you just do a straight seam and then you do a zigzag stitch to kind of reinforce and make sure that your fabric doesn't fray. So this is what it looks like all finished for the top portion. So this is the skirt portion. Basically what I did is I just took a third of the flat sheet and I just folded it in half, and I'm gonna be doing that entire piece of fabric and then just shorten it later. So what I did is I attached the pockets first. That's always the first thing you do with bottoms. So I just did a few seams for that and then sewed down the side of the skirt so that it makes it a skirt. So that's what it looks like sewn together with the zigzag stitch as well. So this is how large that the skirt is. I'm going to be doing some pleats. So here's me pinning down the pleats so that the skirt fits to the size that the top is, but I still have that same amount of fabric so that it is baggy. So that's what it looks like folded over. And so I did that in two separate seams. So what I did is I did the back first and then I did the front, so that it was just easier to sew the pleats down rather than having so many pins and worrying about a pin falling out. It just made it so much easier. So this is what it looks like with the pleats and the dress fully put together. I believe I did 5 pleats on the front and 5 pleats on the back, so 10 altogether. So I'm just going to be trying on the dress, and this is how big it is. You can tell on my face I wasn't quite sure if I liked the size, but... So now I'm trying to figure out the length. This is the length without shortening it at all. Here I shortened it a little bit, and I'm just trying to decide what length I like. So I shortened it a little bit more, and then I need to figure out the hem size. So I did the hem size about 1 inch. So I folded it once, 1 inch, and then I folded it again, and then just did that one seam. And then here I'm doing the cuffs for the sleeves. So I gathered the sleeves so that it fit the cuff, and then I'm going to be doing one seam, which is called sewing in the ditch. I sewed on the outside of the cuff, but I made sure that I sewed in the seam of where I attached the cuff originally, and then made sure that the inside of the cuff folded over so that it caught it underneath, so that I got that seam there on the inside, which I almost goofed it a couple times and not sewn over it, but it was good enough. I didn't want to have to redo it. And the inside of the seam doesn't have to be perfect because it's the inside. So that's what the sleeve looks like. And then next I did the ties on the back. How I attached them is I did a little square seam, and then I just did the the same on the top so that it really reinforced it and that you didn't see the raw edges. So this is the dress almost finished. I didn't do the other sleeve. I wanted to get a lot done that night. So that's what it looks like tied in the back. I'm really happy with how it pulls it in, but it's still really baggy. So that's what it looks like, lied down. And then I also have to do those seams to finish off the ties. I totally forgot to do that when I was making them. And here's the final product. I finished it the next morning. So yeah, I'm so happy that I added pockets. I'm going to be living in this dress. It is so comfortable. Yeah. We're back. Okay. If anyone actually sat through that entire video, thank you. It took me not too long to make the dress. I would say it took me about 3 days because what happened was there was one day I first cut out all of the pieces and kind of started on the top portion. And then the next day I did basically the entire dress except for like, I think it was like 4 seams or something that I had to do. And then that next day I just finished the last like 4 seams or whatever. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. Don't take it too much as a tutorial. This is just how I make clothes kind of by freehand. I try my hardest. I do want to do some more sewing videos, so hopefully I actually do, because sometimes there have been a few times where I will make the clothing item and then while I'm halfway through making it I'm like, damn it, I was gonna film this. There's so many pieces of clothing that I've done that with, but maybe in the future I will do a video of all of the items that I have made, all of the pants, the dress, any shirts, I have a jumpsuit, sweatpants, that kind of stuff. I think I want to make a video just kind of showing you guys what I've made, and how I kind of made it, give like a little explanation on it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. I don't know how to end these. I'm terrible at filming. Okay. Peace. Wow. Okay.